Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message it comes from a translation of a message that I received. The message reads like this. Hello, brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my story as anonymous? I am a young lady and I am aged 23 years old, currently staying with a man who claims that he wants to marry me, but there are a lot of things that he does to me that I do not even understand. This man is even older than my own father, and for him to be with him, I want to tell you my story. This year, it was supposed to be my final year, but because of some of the things that happened last year, I could not even attend some of the classes. And the thing is that both of my parents, since they are staying in another city, they think that I am still in university. And during the holidays, when I was supposed to go back home, I then lied to my mom and my father that I had gotten this attachment at this other certain company, so I would be working throughout the holidays. But the truth was that the man that I am staying with, he is the one who has been giving me money, and each and every month I've been sending that money to my parents, lying to them that I am doing some attachments here and there. My brother, I grew up with my parents, both of them they are still alive, but in our country the situation, life is not fair to anyone. Everyone is just living an average life. Sometimes we could get food, then sometimes we could go to bed hungry without eating anything. My father, he didn't have a proper job that would make him to provide for his family. And most of the times when my father would return back home, he would complain and he would say that the money that he had been given was not even enough to pay for the rent. And even though my father was struggling, his greatest wish was that since I am his firstborn, I was supposed to go until I was in university. Maybe I was going to get a degree and get a better job so that I can uplift the whole family. But my brother, the whole problem started soon after I had passed my O level, and when I was now doing my A level, I met this other girl. Both of us, we were in the same class, and most of her relatives, they were abroad. So it happened that some of her relatives, her cousin brothers, they had came here to Zim, and she told me that they were going to host a party. And she told me that one of her cousin brothers was very shy when it came to women. So what she wanted to do was that she wanted to make her cousin brother to drink a lot of alcohol, and I was supposed to seduce him. And this plan, it was like if I was going to seduce him, then maybe he was going to continue dating me when he had returned back to Canada. So after they had planned that party, my friend then came and picked me up, and we went at that place where they were having the house party. A lot of naughty stuff was being done there, and when she saw that her cousin brother, the one that was really shy, had gone drunk, that was when she said, go follow him into the bedroom where he's going. So I followed him, and when he was there, I then locked the door and we did it throughout the night. But when tomorrow came, he then apologized to me and he said that he was willing to pay me anything. He said that he didn't want this thing to come out into the open, and he was willing to pay me anything. So I asked my friend if I should make him to pay, but she said that you should not make him to pay so that he can see that you are a good girl. So that guy, I waited for him until he had returned back to Canada. And when I heard that he had gone back to Canada without proposing love to me, I was heartbroken. And from there on, I lost control. Knowing that I come from a very poor family, I started dating a lot of rich guys, and most of the rich guys that I was dating, they were not like from my own class. I was dating blessers because at the school where I was attending, even though my parents are really poor, but they were trying so hard so that I can be in the best school. Each and every day when we would have knocked off from school, a lot of expensive cars that would be driven by some of the parents of the kids that were attending that school that I was attending, they will be parked just outside of the gate. So one day when I was walking to the taxi rank, there was this other man who stopped his car. I knew this man because he always came to pick up his son. He then stopped and he asked me where I was going. I told him that I was going to catch a taxi, and he said that I should get into the car. So I got at the back of his car. He was driving a very beautiful Mercedes Benz, and he said that I should come and sit with him in front. And he started asking me a lot of questions, and little by little he kept on telling me that he wanted to see me like on a daily basis. As someone who had already gone wild, I knew that this old man, he was into me and he was providing me a lot of money. That is how I started dating these blessers. I was dating a lot of blessers, so much that my brother, even now, when I am walking around town, sometimes I even hide because I constantly come across these men that I used to date, and some of them I am afraid because I have seen some of the things that they do in the dark. A lot of wicked things are being done in our country, my brother. For instance, I once dated this other man who had a mill, like a mill whereby when they have gone underground to dig up for gold, like they don't get the gold as such, the gold will be inside the rocks, so they take it to the mill, and then the rocks will be grinded, and after that they will separate the gold from the granite. So that man that I was dating, who comes from Kwekwe, he had such a gold mill and he had a lot of money. But my brother, there were some things that he used to do that I didn't even understand. You know, in the shops they sell these toys which looks like snakes. He had two of those toys that were always in his car. Each and every time when he would say that, let us go and check at the mine, he would bring those two toys that represented snakes. And when we would reach the place where his mill was, he would make sure that all of his workers were gone. And as for his security guards, they already knew the drill. If he saw him, if they saw him driving into the mill at night, they would not come out. They would just stay in their guard room. Then he would start walking around the mill. And what surprised me is that, and as he would be walking around his mine, he would be holding those two toys that represented snakes. And after that, he would just pick up soil and he would return with the soil into his car. Even the car was really expensive. He would start to sprinkle that soil in his car. Then he would say, let us drive off. There were so many nights when he would come and pick me up at our place and we would drive throughout the night. Then suddenly he would just stop in the middle of nowhere and he would say, you know what I am feeling? I just feel that let us go into the bushes. And he would be pointing at this other bush and he would say, let us go and make out in that bush. And when he would say that he wanted us to go into the bushes to make out, the time will be somewhere maybe around 1 a.m., even 12 a.m., and he would be parked in the middle of nowhere. I was really scared, but I had to go and do it with him. And most of the times when he would do it, sometimes I would feel such a hot feeling down there in my private parts. But it is a story for another day. I want to tell you about the blesser that I am currently staying with. After I had broken up with that first blesser that I had dated, I then said I want to date another man. But this guy that I started dating, after he had broken my heart, I then thought that I wanted to revenge him. His father, he is disabled. One of his leg, it is like shorter than the other one. He does not walk properly. So I just said I am going to date his father, not knowing that I was going to stay with him. He is the man that I am currently staying with. After his son had dumped me and started dating another girl at the same university where I used to attend, I then approached his father since he knew about our relationship. And to my surprise, when I was speaking with his father then opened up the zipper of his trouser and he took out his manhood and he said, "You know what you are supposed to do." So I went down on him, my brother. This is what this man with money will do to you. They don't even respect you. The man that I am currently staying with, he never told me that he loves me. I only entered into the relationship out of desperation and wanting to hurt his son. After a little while, that was when he took me and he said that, "I want to stay with you." And strangely enough, even though he's really old, his wife, from what I heard, his wife died long time ago, and he has managed to stay for many, many years just being single. And from what he told me is that after the death of his wife, he didn't want to fall in love with again. But on the day that I found out that his wife committed suicide, I then started to regret as to why I entered into this relationship with him, because he lied to me and he said that his wife had a peaceful death. Can we say that someone that died committing suicide has a peaceful death? Because I only found out about this after I saw some letters that were in one of his drawers in his bedroom, and most of these letters, they were written by his late wife. She was a woman that was full of regret, and she started regretting at the time when he started making a lot of money. She was saying that at the beginning of their marriage everything was okay, but after her husband had traveled to another country, that was when he came back as a change. And even though she was now having all the material things in this world, but deep down in her spirit, she was not okay. When I saw this letter, I then confronted him and he told me that his wife committed suicide because she suspected that he was cheating on her. I asked him why he had lied to me, and he said that, "I was afraid to tell you that my wife committed suicide because the room that she committed suicide, it is the same room, Brother Nashi, that we are using as our bedroom, and I do not feel comfortable at all." After he had told me that his wife committed suicide, and she committed suicide in the same bedroom in which we are still sleeping in, none of the property that once belonged to her has been changed. Everything is still the same. Even when I tried to change the designs, he said that he loved it the way that everything is. So I just let it go. And my brother, after I heard this news, I just said that God and my ancestors, they are going to protect me. But I then started to face some challenges. The challenges that I started facing, my brother, is that whenever me and him, after we had finished making love, I would feel some kind of itchiness in my private parts. He tried to take me to different private clinics, but still this thing does not change. Several tests has been done on my body, but there is no STI, because after this man had said that he wanted to stay with me, I then stopped dating a lot of men. In the meantime, I was only seeing him, so I don't know where this mysterious STI is coming from. As far as I know, he is not, and this man, he is crippled. He is not that kind of a man that can go around sleeping with different women, because when he goes out, he can't even drive for himself now. He has to go around with his driver. I have tried to monitor his movements. I have seen that he is not the cheating type. So, my brother, when I stopped going to school, it was after one day when I was in one of the cars that were gifted to me by my blesser. Whilst I was driving, just when I was about to approach the campus, I then saw this other woman. She was dressed in black clothes. This woman, when I was about to enter campus, she stopped me whilst I was rolling down the window. Then that woman, she just disappeared. As I was wondering what was going on, that was when my blesser called me and he told me that I was supposed to return back home immediately. To my surprise, when I returned back home, he said that he was waiting for this other traditional healer that stays there in Mbare. She is a woman, so she came, and then that man that I am staying with started saying that I needed to be cleansed. So I even wondered as to how he had managed to know that I had seen the ghost of his wife. No questions were allowed to be asked. All that they wanted was for me to take a bath. And when I went into the bathroom, I saw that the traditional healer, she was busy mixing some herbs and she had already filled up the bathtub. So I started bathing myself. This thing, my brother, up until today, whenever I try to speak with him, he said that you are already cleansed. No spirit is going to attack you again. I asked him what kind of spirit is going to attack me, but he does not want to come clean. So many nights I feel so scared, even though there are a lot of people that are staying with us, because this man that I am dating, most of his relatives, they have passed on, and strange enough, he has pictures of all of his relatives. They are all placed inside different frames, and they are kept in this cardboard box which he regularly open. And when he opens them up, he just puts them on the bed, and he will say that I just want to look at my relatives. The things that he does sometimes, they make me wonder. Now I am asking myself, should I go back to school, or should I just continue staying with this man, hoping that maybe he is going to marry me, and once I have gotten legally married to him, when he passes on, I will get something out of this marriage. I have tried to ask him about the issue of us having a child together, but he said that he is too old. He does not want his child to suffer after he has passed away. When he said that he does not want a child because he is afraid that when he passes on, the child that he would have had with me is going to suffer from poverty. I said, how can he suffer from poverty when his father has built such a large empire? And he just looked at me and he said, even the great empires, they all fell down. Why don't you think? What makes you think that my empire that I have built is not going to collapse after I have passed away? It seemed as if this man is a ritualist, once he passes on, then everything is going to collapse to the ground. So I am stuck. If I go back to my parents, I am going to break my father's heart. And staying with this man, it is like I am putting myself in a prison that I will never be able to escape because of the things that he does and the diseases that keeps on attacking me. It is not an easy thing knowing that once you have slept with your man, then an infection is going to affect you. Please advise me.